Greetings everyone, I'm Arnis Casey, your host for this episode. Today we have a very fun topic that some of you are already familiar with. The topic for today's podcast is anime. Anime, for starters, is similar to cartoons, except for the character design is realistic, unlike cartoons, and the laws of physics actually work. Well, for the most part it does. Anime is a sequence of animated drawings by professional artists that play at 24 frames per second, having unique themes, characters, and design to present a story. Since I've watched more than 500 anime series and read various manga, I thought this would be a good idea to talk about anime. Although anime is not as popular as Hollywood movies or just yet, it has a lot of potential to be as good or even more popular than movies. We will dive deep into that later. For now, let's discuss what we'll cover in this podcast. This podcast will summarize in brief the origin of anime, how it started, when it started, its rise in the country of origin, its impact on the young generation all around the globe, and the work that goes into making anime. The first anime was originated in Japan in 1917, known as Namakuragatana, which was drawn with chalk, with only 4 minutes long, which took Shimokawa Oten, the creator, several months. Anime has a history of its own, as numerous anime started to surface after the end of World War II. It was not until Dragon Ball that anime was often regarded as popular. Dragon Ball anime aired on February 26, 1986. It was very special as it was one of its kind and it had unique characters that were similar to humans but not humans and had superpowers, and most of all, the protagonist was very funny and interesting. The anime later got various seasons and started to air on TV around early 90s. Later, the anime got more popular and was not just aired on Japanese TV, but also various TVs around Asia. After that, many creative artists aspiring to be anime creators got inspired by Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, and started their journey to make anime. Some creators like Masashi Kishimoto, Ichiro Oda, Tite Kubo, and Hiro Mashima got inspiration from Akira Toriyama, who all made really good anime that later became the 4 most popular anime series of all time. Later, Toriyama was recognized as the god of anime, as he was the primordial of anime. After that, many other anime such as Hunter x Hunter, Sailor Moon, Pokemon, Inuyasha, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Slam Dunk, and many other great anime started to surface. Like Hollywood, anime has come a long way from where it started. As the quality of anime started to improve, so did its budget. But in 2014, there was a downfall of anime where only people with budget and investors created anime, although the storyline would not be very great. People with interesting ideas had their backs against the wall as they lacked the budget and man-force to actually create an anime. Later, the audience started to read manga, which is the core structure of anime. For most part, it was boring as it was similar to comics, but with no colors, and the text was in Japanese. However, the creators had to improvise and create more interesting manga for the viewers to recognize their talent and creativity to fund them to create anime. The manga started to look more compelling and more interesting, through which people started to recognize the art and the talent of creators. I have a statement to make though, for it might be a biased statement, but this is my personal opinion. I believe anime is better than any real-life movies or series. Well, before you guys start jumping at me with opinions, this is my personal opinion, which means no one has to agree with me or so concerned. For instance, how many times have you seen the same character in different movies? A lot? Exactly. You see a unique character with unique attributes in anime. Although this point might not be that strong, how many of you have felt sad when a movie character died? Everybody did, right? Not me particularly. Why? Because they reappear in another movie, so we get to watch our favorite actor perform again and again till the end of their career. But if a character dies in anime, it's over. And I believe this is a very strong point that is directly related to human psychology and alters emotions. Like we discussed, everything has its own perks and downsides. For instance, movies and anime are similar in a way that watching too much of it is bad for a person mentally and physically. A person becomes inactive, lazy, emotionally weak, and insecure. Movies and anime, no matter how real they appear, are still fantasy created by individuals, and when we try to apply ideal fantasy to our day-to-day life, we suffer. In an overview, anime is not just pictures moving on a screen, but rather a unique story that often diverges its path from reality. The various genres of anime mentioned above keeps anime as entertaining as it is, and hopefully many creative artists get a platform to design an anime, each with the story of their own, that will maneuver the world's perspective towards anime in a positive way in the future. No matter what we prefer, movies or anime, we can still watch anime and enjoy it. There is no such thing as limited anime, as new anime gets adopted every single day, making it impossible for the viewers to feel limited to a single genre or a single anime. In the near future, we will be doing a podcast on a different topic that will be far different from anime and movies. The main goal of this channel is to cover as many podcasts from a unique genre each time. Let me know in the comments if we have the slightest idea about what the next topic is, as I've left a small hint in this podcast about the next topic. So everybody, keep smiling, stay curious, and we will meet again very soon. Thank you.